right after I finish killing your father! Whoops. I think I broke him.
This is gonna be part 2 of my Odin is the real father of Loki series, theory, whatever. I will say though, before I start, there's a few things you need to understand. The first thing is that I feel like they could have changed this. I feel like they could have changed this because I'm going off the idea that Loki can use lightning powers when he goes into rage mode. But in Ragnarok, we found out that he turns into animals. So this may not be true as I thought it was back then, but I'm still going to say it now because there could be a chance that they might bring back Loki having lightning powers being a thing. Maybe they just don't want it to be a thing yet, you know? And the other thing is that I'm going to say this right now for y'all to understand this. Faye and Thor, I feel like they were related. There's not much like concrete proof in order to get it by, but I'm going to try to explain a little bit of it in this theory so y'all can understand why I think this type of way. And without further ado, let me get into it. So the first thing I wanted to go off of is, I know it's not stated in the game, but this is what I believe. Since in the mythology, there's no source of where Thor's lightning powers come from. And in the game, it doesn't say wherever it came from. Like there's no source of where Thor's lightning magic power, whatever you want to call it, came from. I'm going to go off the idea that because he is a giant in an Aesir mix, and he's one of the unique giant and Aesir mixes, he has his own unique power that is exclusive to him, right? And if I'm going off the idea that Loki is also a giant and Aesir mix, and it's also Faye is related to Thor, I'm gonna say that Loki also has those similar lightning powers because he is like closely related to Thor. And on top of that, he has the Jotun and Aesir mix in order to get those lightning powers. So that is where I'm going to go off of. Loki can use lightning powers because he has the similar unique Jotun and Aesir mix as Thor does. So my first point is that if you look back on the fight with Modi, you'll actually see Loki use rage. But while he's using his rage, it looks like electricity is going through his body. Like there's a current that's running through him. Watch this clip. Look at that closely, man. Look at that. If you really like inspect that for a second, you'll actually realize that those are sparks coming out of Atreus. Like that is not the same thing as Kratos' rage. Those are sparks. That is thunder. Like electricity is running through Atreus right there, man. And see, this is what they do in order to differentiate it. You see over here, when we see Kratos use his rage on Modi, we can clearly see that Kratos has fire coming out of his body, man. But over here, we see Loki using lightning or thunder out of his body, man. So this is the first sign that tells me Loki is not only the son of Odin because he has that Aesir mix, but on top of that, he also got lightning powers, man. Now, this is the second sign I saw that proves Loki is the son of Odin, man. So we see it right here. When Loki gets sick, a thunderstorm happens in Midgard, right? And on top of that, the sky turns red. What does that remind you of that I just showed? Look at this. So not only do I think this proves even further that Loki has lightning powers, but I need y'all to think about this for a second, right? In the God of War 3 game, when Kratos kills all those gods, right? He kills Helios, Poseidon, Zeus, Hermes, all those gods. Some sort of disaster starts, like some sort of natural, like cataclysmic event happens. But specifically, when those natural disasters happen, they only happen in their respective domain, their respective pantheon. So when Helios died, The sun only disappeared in Olympus. It did not disappear in Midgard or the Norse pantheon. It did not disappear in the Egyptian pantheon. It did not disappear in the Celtic pantheon, etc. So what I'm going to say off this is that the fact that a thunderstorm occurred in Midgard, a thunderstorm occurred in the Norse pantheon when Loki was like nearing death, means that Loki or Atreus is a god bounded to Norse mythology, man. That's why a thunderstorm started in Midgard. He is a god bounded by Norse mythology. And the reason why he is bounded by Norse mythology is because he is actually a Norse god, man. And his father is Odin. So that's the reason why he's bound to Norse mythology. That's why a thunderstorm started in Midgard. You see, in order for this to make even more sense, check it out. Check this out. If Loki got sick, and I'm pretty sure most people are on the idea that this thunderstorm happened because Loki is becoming sick and, there's a natural disaster happening. If we're going off that idea, that means the thunderstorm should have happened in Olympus, not here. But the fact that the thunderstorm happened in the Norse pantheon, that tells me that Loki is a Norse god. And the reason why Loki is a Norse god is because his real father is Odin, man. Now, here's a third piece of evidence that tells me Loki not only got lightning powers, but he's also the son of Odin. You see, I already think y'all are thinking about this right now. If Loki got lightning powers, how the hell is he not already using them? And look, I thought about this myself. This is the best explanation I can come up with it. So pay attention to how Magni and Modi fight in this battle, and pay attention to how Thrud fights when you're with her in Ragnarok. You're going to realize that when they're using their lightning powers that they inherited from Thor, right? The lightning is coming out of their weapons. It rarely actually gets channeled by them naturally. Like the lightning and thunder is coming out of their weapons. They rarely actually naturally produce it, right? So when you actually kill Magni, he drops something called a Lipter alloy, right? And the Lipter alloy is basically saying that the Thor's kids, they use this, and I believe this material is inside their weapon, and that material allows them to channel their electricity into their weapon. And the reason why they need this Lipter alloy is because they can't naturally produce the lightning as far as much, Thor can do it. They can't really produce lightning to the extent that their father Thor can do it, right? So they need this material inside their weapon in order to produce that lightning. And look, see, the reason why Loki was able to make lightning, even though he doesn't have his own Lipter alloy, is because when he activates his rage, it just naturally produces. It has no more limit. It just comes out of his body just like that. And the reason why I'm going to say that this rage is going to naturally produce this lightning is because pay attention to what Thrud, makes her lightning out of when she actually gets angry herself.
Feed your delusions any longer.
Enough! So close.
Bro, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that for real? Look, Thrud gets angry, and because she got angry, her natural power just comes out just like that. She doesn't need to channel it in any sort of way. Just like how Loki, he gets angry, and then his natural power just comes out like that. He doesn't need any sort of device or material in order to make it happen. It just happens. That's the reason why I feel like Loki, he has lightning powers, but the only time he was able to use it is when he activated his rage. And see, on top of that, the reason why he can't use his lightning powers like that is because he doesn't have his own Lipter alloy. If he had his own Lipter alloy, he would be able to just pick up a weapon, have the material on it, and he would actually be able to use those lightning powers. So yeah, Loki, he got lightning powers, and he can use them when he activates his rage. And one last small thing before I move on, it's kind of like a small parallel to how Kratos, when he activated his rage, fire comes out of his body. and it reflects his primary weapon, the blades of chaos that make fire. Kind of similar to how Thor, his natural power, when he activates his rage, because Thor has his own rage, he activates a lightning power, and his own weapon is used to make lightning. So the fact that Loki made lightning when he actually got into his rage state, it kind of tells you that, hey, you know, Loki, he probably has some lightning powers. And the reason why he has lightning powers is not because it comes from Zeus. It's because he is related to Thor, right? And because he is related to Thor, he has those type of, you know, thunder lightning powers that he has inherited from being the same type of mix from Thor. Now, the fourth reason why I feel like Loki is the son of Odin and he has lightning powers similar to Thor is because when Loki uses his rage once again, when he gets angry once again, he has lightning be created, and I think that is a byproduct of him getting angry. Watch this.
About it, or shut up already.
I see.
Yeah, we're sick of hearing about little people's little problems.
All right. That hurt a little. Let's have a look at your gear then.
Now, I already know someone is going to watch that and think it is a coincidence, but look, this shit is not a coincidence. If the evidence did not lead to something, it wouldn't be there at all. So when we see things like this in the game, they put it here for people to realize and find out that, you know, things like this theory that could be true will end up being true if they confirm it. So when we see a thunderstorm start when Loki gets angry, just like I showed before, when Loki got angry, electricity was running through his body. That is a byproduct of Loki getting angry. And on top of this, look, this is not no like cinematic effect type of thing. Like they did not add in a thunderstorm to make it look cool. I understand why that would work, but if you the God of War developers and writers, like they know what they're doing. So when they add something like this into the game, not only do they do it because it has cinematic effect, like I won't deny that it looks cool. It makes the scene feel a lot more emotional when a thunderstorm just happens on the spot, but they also do it to hint at something. And the reason why they want to hint at something is because it means something. And the reason why it means something is because it could likely like correlate to something, I think, or it could correlate to something else. You see, like everything is going to have some sort of direction. And because everything has some sort of direction, that means that if a thunderstorm just occurs out of nowhere, something caused that to happen. And maybe you don't agree with what I say, but look, something that definitely isn't a coincidence caused that thunderstorm to happen. And I think that thunderstorm happened because Loki got mad, and then the thunderstorm came as a byproduct of that, and he didn't even realize. He made that thunderstorm happen, and he didn't even realize it yet. Just like how he has so many other powers, but we don't even realize it yet. So the last two things I wanted to say before I finish up this video. I think I was supposed to say this at the beginning, but Thor and Faye, they got the same eye color and the same hair color. So I think that goes along with why I think Thor, Faye, and Atreus, they're all related. And the second thing is, okay, when we see Atreus use his rage and he turns red like that, look, y'all, I believe the reason why they made it red was simply just to make sure that we did not suspect this too quickly. Because, look, I know that seems crazy, but think of it this way. If they made it blue, or they made it any other color than red, we would definitely know that the rage doesn't come from Kratos. Like, we would automatically know that. And if it was blue, then niggas would just, people would just know it on the spot. Like, a lot of people would just suspect that and see that, yo, if this man is using blue thunder on the spot, we gonna know that it's from Thor. You know, we gonna know that Atreus is related to Thor in some sort of way. But of course, they don't want people to know that too quickly. So what they do is they make it a different color, and they make it similar to Kratos' rage color to make sure that people and most, players, they don't see this too quickly. because when they leave hints in a game, like when they leave hints to get to some, destination, they don't want you to get to the destination in like one jump. They want to make sure that you're taking like those small steps into getting towards that like last piece. They don't want you to have the last piece on the spot. They want to make sure that you're taking the right steps in order to get to that last piece. So yeah, that's the reason why I believe they literally just made this red. Like, if that wasn't a problem at all, they probably would have made this blue just to, like, I don't know, push some shit out there. But yeah, that's the reason why they made this rage red. Now, one last thing before I actually end the video. Let me explain how I think the rage, it comes from Faye and Odin, not actually Kratos. So right here, we see Kratos and Atreus. They're giving out Faye's ashes. And then over here, we see Faye using her magic. You see how the yellow ashes have the same color as the magic she's using right here? Now look what happens when Atreus turns into a bear. Boom. When he loses his form, those same yellow color, that same essence, it comes out again. Now, where I'm going with this is that part of the rage, it comes from Faye. And the other part to shapeshift, it comes from Odin. Now, I'm going to answer some of this in my other video, but just to be clear, I'm not sure if they like changed this or nothing yet. Like, I'm not sure if they're still going with this idea to give him lightning powers, since this was 2018 and then now we have Ragnarok. And plus, around the time that I was thinking of this, it was like 2022. So I'm not sure if they're still going to go with that route since they already changed it in Ragnarok. But they still could do it. Like, they still could do it, and maybe they're just saving it for a different time. They could be doing it for a different time, and then when it is time, we're gonna be like, wow, he had thunder powers the whole time. But for now, all they're gonna show is this little small thing with Loki turning into a bear and other animals. And I think he only turns into Nordic animals too. But I'll get into that a different time too.